Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Are you aware that Russia is building up military bases in the Arctic? This has been going on since the beginning of 2021. It isn't something that they just started doing, but it's something that seems to be more in the news, that people are concerned with it at this time. Russia's ambition is to be an all-out superpower, and they want to hold on to the control and the military might that they already have possessed in the Arctic region. There are a lot of economic reasons why countries that have Arctic territories or connections to the Arctic, why they would want to maintain that hold, strengthen that hold, and part of it is the waterways that are opening up. As the summers are warmer and the seas are more open, there are shipping lanes that are opening up through the northern seas. If you look at a map of the Arctic region, you can see that there are several countries who border on the Arctic. Russia has the largest border in that region. Now remember, that's all ice. There isn't any land under there like there is in Antarctica. There's a continent there. The Arctic is frozen ice. Even though you can walk on it and it seems like land, it's not. It's an ice cap. Russia has been building infrastructure in the Arctic region. They're building icebreakers, they're opening up oil and gas pipelines, and they're even developing the Arctic for tourism. Why might Russia want to have an interest in that? 1/5 of their landmass lies above the Arctic Circle. The world population count in 2011 say that 4 million people live above the Arctic Circle, and 2 million of those live in Russia. Military experts have been concerned about the military bases and the strengthening in the Arctic region, partly because of the Poseidon torpedo. Russia's Poseidon 2M39 torpedo is an unmanned stealth torpedo. It's powered by a nuclear reactor, and it's designed to sneak past coastal defenses of the United States. Some say that this missile has the capability to set off a tsunami that can affect the entire coastline. We also know that Russia is testing arms in the Arctic. If you think about the northern sea routes as a shipping lane that runs between Norway and Alaska along Russia's northern coast, you can see how that would greatly shorten the trip that you would need to go through the Suez Canal. So the opening up of northern sea routes would be beneficial to many countries. So if Russia then says part of these waterways are in our territory, then they have far more control over who can use those shipping lanes and what can go on there. They're not going to be open all year round. That's only going to be in a few of the summer months. But there would be a lot that could happen in those few months as far as shipping. If you look at this map of the Arctic region, you can see countries that have military bases, where there are strategic oil deposits, where there would be mining claims, and you can see all of the different countries that would have a claim on this region. So yes, it's far easier to have a claim on the land that you have that touches these waterways, but once that ice melts and some of those waters are open, that's when you start having complications and people want to control the seas. The United States has been an Arctic country since the 1867 purchase of Alaska, but the United States gives far less attention than one might expect to northern affairs in its largest swath of coast, which stretches 6,600 miles on both the Pacific and the Arctic Oceans. Americans may not be giving their fourth coast due attention, according to a growing chorus of researchers and policymakers, including the Pentagon and the State Department. Russia's behavior warrants close attention to the region on the part of the United States. If you think back to the president we had before this one, and he made suggestions that perhaps we should buy Greenland, and people said, that is ridiculous. People don't just buy other countries, but they certainly do buy things. For example, Alaska was purchased from Russia, so why wouldn't you be able to buy Greenland? And if you look at how America expanded from the Louisiana Purchase, the Gadsden Purchase, there are all kinds of times when people have purchased property. So it was not unreasonable to think that that is a possibility. When we also look at the polar map again, look at the coastline of Greenland, and if this is becoming a shipping area, then perhaps that would have been a wonderful opportunity, actual strategic move that could have strengthened the United States' position in the Arctic passageways when the waters are available for shipping. The United States' involvement, or lack thereof, in Arctic affairs has been limited by a dispute that's different from the standard political skirmishing, one between the executive branch and the Senate. Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama both supported Senate ratification of the Law of the Sea Treaty, which provides the framework for countries' maritime claims. So there's always all kinds of workings of politics. We only hear what the news broadcasts of the terrible tragedy of the day. And all of this has been going on for years. Should we be concerned that Russia is building more bases in the Arctic region? Does it mean they're immediately becoming a threat to North America, to Canada, to Alaska? Maybe, but maybe not, because all of these countries also have bases in that region. What we do tend to forget when we look at a map of the world, it's been flattened out and people forget that there is that region at the top and that that is a strategic part of our world. So if you hear that military buildup in the Arctic and you think that means you're under more imminent threat, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Building new forts has been going on since the beginning of the days of battle. People have looked strategically, where can I put my troops, where can I build my forts, where can I build my castles, and so that's just something that is still going on today in our world. We just don't really pay attention to it because we've been distracted by the things that the news does tell us, and we are distracted when the press pushes what celebrities are doing rather than what our military is doing. So don't let this be cause of alarm, but let it be cause of concern, and try to take your news from as many sources as possible so that you can actually glean the truth. You can decide for yourself, what are the things I should be prepping for? Is this an imminent threat, or is this just something I need to be aware of? And if it is an imminent threat, what do I need to do to prepare myself in case something happens? We need to be aware of what's going on around us and all over the world, because things can change in an instant. Just look what happened when the pandemic began back in 2020, and it changed everybody's world so quickly. And so we know now that there are things that can affect the world in a matter of moments. While we still have time to get the things we need, look through all of the areas of prepping: your water, your food, your shelter, your medicines, your first aid supplies, your hygiene and sanitation supplies, the tools you need, and the things that you need to sustain yourself so that you can make the best of every day of your life. That's what preppers do. That's why we're prepping, so we can have the things we need, and we have also developed the skills and the thought process to figure out what to do next and how to make ourselves have the best outcome. So it only makes sense to be a prepper. If you enjoyed my video, I hope you'll share it with someone else you think might like it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.